Have you ever encountered someone who deliberately tried to push your buttons? Or maybe someone who loves to use more subtle passive aggressive jabs just to irritate you? Oh, believe me, I've been there. I have dealt with this so much over the years. I feel like I'm an expert at this subject. Hi, I'm Angie. Welcome to my channel. I create videos about embracing authenticity, finding meaning, and living a peaceful, worry-free life. In this video, we're going to talk about how to stay calm and unfazed when others try to provoke you. I'll be sharing some tips I've learned along the way that will make positive change in your life. I wanted to share more on this topic because it's around us so much. People seem to be offended and triggered so easily these days. And then there are those who seem to thrive on provoking others. They love to have that power over someone. And you see it on social media so much. There's a rash of people with what they call keyboard courage, writing rude comments they would never say in person. Common courtesy has seemed to have gone right out the window. When someone provokes us, whether online or in person, we have two choices. We can either go on defense or we can pause and take control of how we react. But that's easier said than done. You think you're in control of your emotions, but then they know just the right buttons to push, and that's all it takes. You are pulled right back into their storm. When we react in anger, the part of our brain responsible for rational thinking shuts down. So when we allow ourselves to be triggered by something, we're giving up the ability to think clearly. We are actually giving the person who provoked us control over our emotions. But the good news is we can learn to take back that control. We can learn to master our own emotions and contain our response. We can learn to be unbothered. And that is a mastery of emotional freedom. Once upon a time, I was married to a very controlling man who knew how to push my buttons to exert control over me. I was young and a bit vulnerable, and he had this narcissistic personality and this huge ego where he would never admit to being wrong. It was always my fault. He never respected or valued me, and he dismissed my opinions about anything. He accused me of things I never did. Very insecure. After so many years of being treated like this, I grew to resent him. I would challenge his accusations, which would escalate into these heated arguments that neither of us knew how to control. And because I didn't know how to communicate my feelings, I shut down. I gave up. Over time, my heart went stone cold, and I instinctively shifted into self-protection mode. It had a lasting effect on me, and I hated what I had become. It took me a long time to feel normal again and to let go of the resentment I had been holding on to. Looking back now that I'm older and I think wiser, I would have handled those moments much differently. I would have been much calmer in my reaction, and I would have communicated my feelings better. But those experiences taught me a lot, and I'm grateful for them. Reflecting on them helps me deal with similar situations much better. Here are a few ways on how to remain calm and unfazed when others try to provoke you. 1. I've learned to pause before I react. And this is powerful. When someone says something rude or downright insulting, your first instinct is to go on defense and put them in their place. But when we do that, we give them exactly what they wanted. We've let them under our skin and given them power over our emotions. We are now playing by their rules. Instead, when someone tries to trigger you, pause. Stay silent for a moment and look at them. They aren't expecting this out of you, so they will become uncomfortable in the moment. Let their words sit there and fizzle out. Provocation is an invitation to engage. We get to decide if we want to accept it or not. We decide whether we want to match their energy. When we choose to stay emotionally grounded, we break the cycle. We are maintaining power over our own state of mind and sending a powerful message that we cannot be controlled. The best way to disarm someone who's provoking you? Starve them of the reaction they were hoping for. You could even look them in the eyes with a calm, neutral response. Say, interesting. Showing you're unbothered is a powerful way to shut them right down. 2, realize that most of the time, the way people behave has nothing to do with you, but everything to do with what's going on inside them. And it makes sense because think about it. If someone's happy with their life, why would they try to inflict misery upon others? There's a quote that says, "Those who carry light within them have no need to cast shadows on others." And this is so true. People who are unhappy operate from their own feelings of frustration, and they take it out on others. Happy people have no reason to inflict unhappiness. Have you ever been snappy at someone? Maybe you were having a bad day, you were stressed out, tired, whatever. Chances are it wasn't actually about the person you were snapping at. It was about what you were going through at the moment. So what if we flip that scenario and someone provoked you? Maybe just for a moment, you considered their behavior wasn't about you at all. What if they were struggling with something inside? What if they didn't know how to be kind to others because they don't know how to be kind to themselves? And I'm not saying it's okay. Boundaries and accountability still matter, but when we can learn not to take things so personally, it changes how we respond. A few years ago, I struggled with a person who was spreading rumors about me that weren't true. I felt wronged. I knew I didn't deserve this treatment, and I couldn't figure out why they were saying these nasty things about me. Then I discovered some unsettling truths about this person, and I realized they have dealt with much suffering and hurt in their life. So instead of lashing out in my own defense, I decided to let it go. I stayed indifferent and unbothered. And by not reacting, I sent the message to myself and to other people that this did not deserve my energy. Over time, others began to realize that this person was not well, and the rumors died out. Recognize that reacting negatively to a rumor only gives it power. Defending yourself only keeps it alive, and stooping to their level may be perceived as a sign of weakness. You know how they say misery loves company? What that means is emotions are contagious. Just like misery or anger is contagious, so is calm. Learning how to stay calm in the face of adversity is a superpower. Calm is contagious. 3, set clear boundaries in interactions. The question isn't, will I get triggered? It's, what will I do when I get triggered? I've done it. You've probably done it. Get into a heated argument and then feel that instant dopamine fix by saying your piece. It feels good. Putting them in their place. Yeah, and it can feel good for a moment, but then later on, your words linger in your head and you just feel really bad. Why did I say that? Because that's not who I am at all. But learning not to lose your cool, learning to remain calm, is leveling up. It's empowering, and it's a kindness to yourself. Setting firm boundaries when dealing with people who have provoked you is a form of self-respect. Being non-reactive isn't being passive. It's being intentional. It's not about avoiding conflict or tolerating disrespect. It's about consciously choosing how you respond. You get to decide, not them. You enforce limits without anger, without emotion, calmly. You set the rules by saying firmly, I won't be spoken to like that, or I'd like to continue this conversation without the yelling, or if you can, simply walk away. You're not showing weakness. You're showing that you're not going to be disrespected. Another thing to remember, you're just as important of a human as they are. If they raise their voice or talk over you, don't take the bait. Keep speaking calmly and finish what you're saying. You're not allowing them to overpower you. Setting these boundaries may feel uncomfortable at first, and you may get some pushback, but remember, how others react to your boundaries is not your problem. Your only responsibility is your own well-being. Setting boundaries and honoring your own needs is a form of self-care and protecting your peace. It's time to change the narrative, and it's time to claim your respect. And that ex-husband of mine, nowadays, whenever I need to have a phone conversation with him, mainly revolving around our adult kids, I apply those boundaries. I know now how to steer the conversation in a positive way. Because the beautiful thing is, I don't have to put up with anything I don't want to with him anymore. He knows that if he tries to provoke me, I'll simply hang up. I'm firm and direct about what we can discuss. And now, guess what? Our conversations are actually pleasant. He even asked me for my advice. Remember, I believe in you. You are more powerful than you think. You've got this. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing to my channel. It would mean so much. My goal is to share my life experiences and advice each week. I have a lot to share. Enjoy your day, and we'll chat soon.